Hello and welcome, Steve Fletcher here. Welcome to another tuition video. Now the regular viewers to my channel might notice that I'm in my new digs. That's right, the family were getting a little bit fed up with me taking over the dining room table, which is fair enough, and I'm trying to present myself as a professional musician, so I thought the time was ready, the time was now, if you like, that I should sort of move operations up to my office. So here we are. Things are going to get a little bit more interesting as time goes on. We've got the family bookshelf behind me, so there's not a great deal of amazing rock and rollness there. But over here in these empty spaces, we're going to try and get some pictures and what have you, some cool posters and stuff, just to try and make me look a little bit more like the rock and roll loser that I really am. But anyway, enough of such waffle. Today we are having a look at the Dire Straits classic Romeo and Juliet. And I'm kind of throwing at you as many Romeo and Juliets as I possibly can. And the reason I'm doing this is because, quite frankly, it's a bit of a ball ache of a song to get right. So I thought, while my practice levels at it are high, I better take advantage of that and sort of do as many different versions as I can. So if you search on my YouTube channel, I'll be steadily uploading the original version, the Alchemy Live version, and one of my favourite versions, which is the Mark Knopfler solo On the Night version. Not On the Night, because that's a Dire Straits album. A Night in London. That's the one. Version from 1996. One of my favourite versions is that. So today we're going to take a look at the original version that came out on the 1980 album Making Movies. The first Dire Straits album that came out in my lifetime. So I'm aging myself just there. It's probably the easiest version to get used to. So if you're a beginner at it, if you're not quite used to it, I would definitely start with this one. It is a little bit faster, but certain things like the strumming patterns in the verse, he reverts to a single strum of a lot of those chords in the verse, which does make it a little bit easier. Knopfler's strumming style is a bit of a cow at the best of times, and as we go into the live versions, you'll see this in the Alchemy versions and stuff. It's really hard, and any guitarist worth their salt will just respond to the song, put in different strumming patterns in there. What you'll see on the tabulature is I've kind of just stuck to a very basic thumb strum. That kind of idea. But be aware, I'm putting it out there straight away before you all comment and complain. I'm putting it out there straight away that it doesn't always go. There are times where it does mix it up a little bit. I'm not gonna make any apologies for it though. If you're not the kind of player that can adapt your strumming to that kind of thing, then maybe this song isn't for you, because it is a harder level song. So I'm not being horrible about it, just sort of trying to be a bit more matter of fact about it. So just bear that in mind with your playing and when you're attempting to do this song. Gear wise, I've used London. My Dean resonator. Guess where I bought him. And then we moved on for the solo. We moved on to my David Gilmour signature Strat for the solo. Now, I mentioned the tabs earlier on. Now, I'm very, very, very pleased to say that I've entered the 21st century, and Romeo and Juliet is the first tab that I have done on Guitar Pro. A lot of people have been, you should do it on Guitar Pro. You should do your tabs on Guitar Pro. And I have done now. So you can get those tabs from me. Follow the links in the description down there. You can get those tabs from me. You can get it on Guitar Pro file. If you don't have Guitar Pro, you can still get it as a regular document, a PDF, as a picture, so you can just look at it. But it does certainly look a lot more pro than these handwritten sheets that I do sometimes give out. So there you go. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time, boys and girls. Bye bye.
The broken streets of shame, both dirty, both mean. They said the dream was just the same. And I dreamed your dream for you, so now your dream is real. How can you look at me as if I'm just another one of your deals? When you can fall for chains of silver, you can fall for chains of gold, you can fall for pretty strange. And I promise you promise me everything. Yeah, you promise me thick and thin, yeah. Now you just say, oh, Romeo, yeah. You know I used to have a scene with him. Juliet, when we made love, you used to cry. You said I love you like the stars above. Oh, I love you until I die. And there's a place for us. TV, and I can't do a love song like the way it's meant to be. I can't do anything, but I'll do anything for you. Can't do anything, so be in love with you. And all I do is miss you, and the way we used to be. All I do is keep the beat, rock and roll company. All I do is kiss you through the bars of the Rhine. Julia, to the stars with you, babe. Anytime, Julia. Now we made love, you used to cry. You said I love you like the stars above. Oh, I love you until I die. And there's a place for
Okay, so now that we've watched a couple of goes at it, let's you know, take a little bit of time to just sort of dive into the minutiae of what we're talking about here. So, you know, the first thing I want to talk about, of course, is the tuning itself. It's in open G tuning, and open G tuning it's probably one of the easiest alternate tunings to put your guitar into. You know, I would probably go, you know, like drop D, open G as ease. So I just want to show you how to do it. You can use a tuner, of course. What you're aiming for is D, G, D, G, B, D. Okay, so your bottom E is going down to D, your A is going down to G, and then you're going to ignore everything else until you get to your top E, which is going to go down to D. And it's really very easy. I'm going to show you how you can do it without a tuner. It's very, very easy to actually do it. Just by using your ears and harmonising those notes. So the first thing we're going to do, so we've got London here, we've got him in standard tuning. Ish. And, yeah, I'm just going to change it into open G for you. So basically, the way I'm going to do it, first of all, is bottom E. That's going to be very much the same way that you'll probably see most guitarists go drop D, in that we'll play the D string and then play the E string and then just harmonise, drop the bottom E until it sounds like the D. So something like this. There you go, that kind of idea. Now then, to get the A down to G, we do exactly the same theory, but we do the G string and then the A string, and then again we lower the A string down until it harmonises with the G. Like that. And then the same thing with the top E, harmonising with the D string. And there you have it, open G. Now, you should always then sort of double check your ear against an actual tuner, but that's, you know, roughly how you do it. And then, of course, not forgetting for Romeo and Juliet, capo on fret 3. All right, so let's have a look at some of these chord shapes. Now, because it's in an open tuning, and because it's got a capo on, people get in a bit of a tizzy sometimes about, oh my God, what sort of tuning is it in and what chords am I doing? You're actually, believe it or not, you're not doing particularly difficult chords. The main sort of bulk of the song, you know, it's quite straightforward. Yeah, so we've got our open strings, you get that one, which is actually a B flat chord. So that's made up of a D and a B flat and an F. So there's your F, B flat, F, B flat, there's your D, and there's your F again. Then we have this one, where everything's barred across that second fret. We don't play that bottom string, which is quite straightforward as a C chord. So you got your B flat and your C chord. I'm going to get to that strum in a minute. And then the final one, which is the sort of the main one, and it's probably the most fiddly of all the chord shapes to get right. We've got this barring, there's the same bar that you had for that C chord across those 5 strings, not the bottom string there. Second finger on the 3rd fret of your 2nd string. 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string. And then this is where I when I was first trying to do it, that 4th finger on that 4th fret of the 1st string is just that little bit to get in there. And that's your F chord. So there you go. So those are the three main chords that make up the riff and your verse. And there you go. So let's look at the other chords that you sort of have in there. We've got this lovely one. D minor. It's a really nice way of doing that. Yeah, so it's a really nice chord. And then finally, the only other one you've got left is this. So this chord here, it's actually a G minor suspended 4, or you could actually add 4. The suspended 4 is more likely, and the reason the suspended 4 is more likely is because this is your B flat, and that's your third note of your G minor. Your B flat is your G minor, your minor third in your G chord, and I think that's mostly dead in that chord, and which leaves you with a G and an F and a C and a D. So sort of putting all that together, your G and your D make up your G chord. Your F makes it a sort of a minor 7, and your C is that suspended 4. So it's like a G minor 7 add 4 suspended 4. It's a very strange little chord, and I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. YouTube are going to correct me in the comments, go, no Steve, it's not a G minor, and it's all right, quite frankly. I'm not really that bothered. It's a lovely chord anyway. All right, so let's talk about the strumming pattern. The way I've written it on the tabulature is I've sort of reverted to a very simplified Knopfler-esque strumming pattern. And what I mean by that is something like this. That kind of idea where I'm alternating the root note and the string above with a down up with the finger. So you get, and it is a very basic idea of a Knopfler strum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of idea. Now I'm first to admit, and I'm putting it out there, I've said it already, that is not what he's always doing. Okay? Like all good guitarists, and let's face it, Knopfler's one of the best, he's responding accordingly to each bar instinctively. So you do get that kind of thing, just mixing it up. And you should be prepared to do that, all right? Now, the reason I haven't gone really ridiculously anal and gone every single bar and matched every single strumming pattern exactly how it is because, quite frankly, I've got a life. And what I mean by that is if you are so obsessed with playing it exactly how it is, down to the degree where you are worried about the strings that you hit in the strum and all that kind of stuff, you're kind of taking the joy out of the playing it, you know. This is my opinion. Don't forget that that night, the Alchemy night, was just a moment, you know, and the studio version is just that moment captured at that time. You know, if you listened to the night before or the take before or whatever, it would be that little bit different again. And I would sort of, not argue, but I would challenge anyone to sort of think that the guitar police are going to come around and arrest you because you're not doing your strum just the same as Knopfler does. And I can go out on a limb and guarantee that no one in the audience listening to you is going to go, oh, you see that bar there, the third bar of the fourth chorus, he doesn't do that strumming pattern there. He does it like this. And anyone who does come up to you in the off chance, anyone who does come up to you and sort of say stuff like that, it's a case of, well, you know, oh, thanks very much. Get a life. sort of thing, you know. And I'm not being horrible about it. I'm just sort of trying to be a bit sort of matter of fact about it. You're not Knopfler, you're you. Play it how you would play it, and enjoy it. You know, of course, there's those moments, you know, you want to get the riff right. And of course, go for it, get the riff right. But when you're getting really down to little things like a strumming pattern, it so doesn't matter that it's exactly the same as Mark Knopfler plays it. It really doesn't matter. If you think it does, then good for you. Off you go. Go and play it like that. But I just don't think it does. So that's the main reason to waffle a bit, why I haven't gone totally mad for every individual bar. I have just put a... like that. So the other thing I just want to mention in the outro is I've put in the outro this sort of open string like that. And what I noticed he does sometimes is he'll go, just to stop you from sitting there with an open hand doing nothing, is I've just noticed sometimes he'll go to that 4th fret on the G string, and then that 5th fret on the B string. And it just makes a nice little change. That you and me, babe. And I get it wrong. Just mixing it up a little bit, but that mainly. It's lovely. So there we go, boys and girls. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you get something out of it. Enjoy it. It's sort of driven me mad at times, but I have really enjoyed diving into all these different versions of Romeo and Juliet. And if nothing else, it's taught me that, you know, every little version, as he's been playing it for longer, they've sort of all grown and changed, which again just sort of comes back to that whole idea of don't be afraid or don't be worried that, you know, you're not doing things exactly as they are, because they are just moments. And you know, learn how to play the meat and two veg of it properly. But you know, things like that, just chill out, enjoy it. It's been really good, and we'll see you next time, boys and girls. Thanks ever so much. Bye bye.